Alright, it seems like everything is ready. Oh, gotta turn something off. Not want that on there. Okay then. You guys already know the deal here when it comes to being on my streams, and I know I sound like I'm slightly a little bit tired because of all the sunshine I'm getting. I'm getting overtired about it. So I'm right now trying to work around streaming again. I haven't streamed in such a long time that it's been difficult doing this. And you guys already know the deal about the stuff on the screen here and all the stuff I do. We'll be doing the rest of my old video that I've been trying to get out. To anyone joining on, thank you. And also, you guys already know what the goals are on this channel. We're trying to reach the 300 realistically subscribers so I can get some recognition. YouTube is being a bitch right now with not allowing me to see my real current viewers and seeing who is seen and who is not seen. I have been wanting to do a live stream for about a whole month or two. I haven't really done a whole lot of stuff online at the moment. Let's see here. I'm checking some stuff on the main website for Streamlabs. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I use Streamlabs more than I use OBS and Stream Elements. And I use them a lot longer than this one. Now, what I'm trying to do right now is try to load up all the stuff I need. And I really wish I can do a consistent streaming. I really wish I can. But after that drama stream, I completely dissociated myself from trying to do any more streaming because I blocked so many people on my block list on YouTube that time. I also don't have any filters on my mic at the moment, so you're going to hear an open mic. So while that's loading up, let's put advance. Okay, I'm trying to do something right now. So this is a layout for certain things. I'm testing out some stuff with the font. These are all my friends that have done on stream, so I'm going to shrink this a little bit. Better yet, I'm going to leave it a little bit big. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to look at my properties. I'm streaming this while I'm trying to do something. So let me see what other properties do I have. I'm trying to do basic or any of that. Slick. Don't worry about me. I'm just trying to get all this stuff set up because I haven't had a chance to be online in a while. So when people are doing any kind of I'm fooling around. You know me. But what I'm doing right now is doing some stuff that is important to me, since I want to keep track of all the stuff that's going on stream. So my chat, I don't know what happened. I might have to do this real quick. But I will say right now, SFN file loaded up all my stuff. So, to give you an idea of what has been happening for the past couple of weeks, I've been trying to figure out how to render this animation, get it fixed, get it moved around, and I have put every single effort you can get your hands on with moving in stop motion, smooth animation, and you name it, in by 4s or in by 2s. Now, let me show you what I mean by there's a lot going on. There is so much in this one video. I think if I were to tell you honestly from my point of view, this entire animation might take longer. I told you guys this a long time ago. I thought it was going to be a quick animation, but it became an absolute nightmare to get uploaded because YouTube is so slow compressing all of my videos. Now, to anyone who wants to see my content for streams or things about conventions, I haven't really done a whole lot of convention stuff. I haven't done a whole lot. I missed several conventions that were being on streamed. I missed Impone Fest. I missed the entire event because it's all across Europe. So my thing is that the only next convention coming up as of right now, I'm going to announce it. Windy City is coming up in less than a week. You have Everfreeze already happened, which was last year. Let me get this off. So everything according to plan has already happened, and all the stuff with me has already happened. HarmonyCon was a big deal for me, and the reason why is that because it's the only convention about 100 miles from here. Now, I've been to several comic conventions, didn't record a whole lot because it was so small. I did not have my equipment on me. I had just my phone. What is... Oh, no, nothing to worry. I'm just trying right now to do some stuff. So, SFM has been in my burning desire to upload videos, and I've been wanting to make a channel. Now, my main channel just focuses on a lot of different things, and I really wish I can talk more about the video. It's pretty simple. Giant Luna, gonna grow over on Twilight. But the problem I'm gonna have with getting this video out is that I feel like some people are going to report and flag my channel. Why I think that is because I feel like anyone, yeah. Hey cartoons. Hi. I know that there's some people out there that are late on to stream, and thank you a lot for doing that. So, what has been happening with SFM lately is that I've been trying to figure out how to fix my memory. To give you an idea on what is happening with SFM, it takes a lot of gigabytes to upload these videos to my export session. So, I am getting my my file explorer opened up. I have some stuff in here that is not for showing online, but we have a bunch of pictures and photos. I got a few thumbnails I want to put together too, so I'm going to increase the picture so you can see it. We have a little series I am thinking of making on SFM. Now, SFM is not the place to start a series because you guys have no sourcey. Nico Source. I know I'm trying to mention their name because they make animations like I do. I really want to focus on something that gets me notice in some way. So while I'm at it, I'm going to switch my screen over to a full screen. So we're going to go from here and we're going to go to photos. And I don't know why on earth it's not showing that. Okay, there we go. Is it going to show it? Oh, it's not going to show my Okay, back to SFM real quick. So, SFM is a great place to put posters. So, I'm going to have to possibility do something about all the stuff. So, I haven't really done a whole lot of streams. Like I said, I did the drama about Dark Hero, but he's not part of the stream. And I really wish I do have time to think of a title for all my videos, but I don't have time to think of a single one, and I don't feel like all the subjects I do are relevant. I know that some people will be asking, then why I'm doing this? What kind of transformative content am I making right now? The content is a very vague thing. So, I'm making content for certain people who want stuff from me. So, this whip is going to be given to you guys as a way of telling how much I work on SFM on a daily basis. Now, this project has more hours on it than possibility any project that I worked on. And because my very first project I ever worked on was Miss Harshwing's Grove, which was 2017, and this is like 6 years ago. I did not know about a whole lot about how to use SFM at the time. So SFM was very difficult for me at that time. I was just a kid. But now, since I have skills that I want to prevail in SFM, and a few friends of mine that have pushed me through SFM have done a great job at pushing me through all of this. Now, I want to show you the thumbnail for 2 or 3 videos that I'm possibly going to be doing. But my problem with SFM, I'm going to have to... Okay, here we go. So, this is my project selection. This are 2 thumbnails. These are downgraded videos that I worked on, but never finished. Now, each of these videos are about 4 gigabytes. I found out how many gigabytes each of my videos are about. 4 gigabytes. This is my massive collection of folders for all of my projects and all of my stuff that's personal. So that don't worry about this. So that is a 3.5 gigabyte video. Now, I will say that some of my videos are not longer than 2 minutes on SFM because I figured out that if I went over 5 minutes, that it will clock at 8 gigabytes for 5 minutes. Now, why is that? So, let me show you why. If I were to render this, so let's go to render settings. Let's go to render when you export it. Now, this is my layout for all my renders, if you can see it. Nope, you cannot see it. So, I'm going to have to switch over to the next window. This is my layout for rendering. SFM has a very hard time rendering anything. And I found out that SFM takes up to about 2 hours rendering a full video that's in Full HD and Full H. And I'll keep in mind that every single video I make is in AGVI format. It is not any other format that I can think of. So we're going to fit the screen. This is what the layout looks like. So the normal resolution I put this in is not your typical of the line output. Custom is what I use for 1900 by 80. So we're going to do 1980. It does not like me when I do that. So everything goes from pale, NST, and the HD that I use all the time. Now, these are all my settings I use for output. Now, I typically will tell you from personal experience, do not go all the way here. My best bet for lower end PCs like mine, do not go over 30. And why I say that, SFM is a nightmare to render in Full HD. Do not select Audio AGVA. Do not use QuickTime for SFM. Now, sound is not a problem. Sound is not a thing you should be using, I would say. Now, we're going to switch back to the thing I use all the time. This is the project that I have on that format of 720 by whatever you want to call it, 1280 or something like that. Now, there used to be a setting on YouTube back in 2018, 2017, when I remember. You can put a video in 1200 pixels by 720 or more, but that has been removed. For SFM, this video does not go over 1080. You can do this with your output. Let me go check. Now, there is a way for me to check on some stuff in SFM as I'm doing this. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to SFM 1080 output settings. Now, I will say there is this setting I'm going to put in here. So we're going to go to commands and we're going to copy and paste this. That's what you should use for any of your launch options. And transformative content is extremely different for me, since I don't use it that often and I don't anticipate on doing it. So when you launch, anytime you launch an SFM, I recommend do not default to 720. 720 looks terrible, even though it's not. I use this window for viewing. I use this video window for moving. So this, you have this is Alt Select. I use this to help me out with moving all my things. So I'm going to show you what I use for stepping and smoothing out everything. Now, I don't recommend this to everybody who watches my videos. Now, I'm going to show you why I don't recommend this all the time. It is difficult for me to undo this because I have to do some kind of deselect. Now, you see that the body is not completely... You see the face is not moving, not showing expressions, not, blinking. There's no sound because when I upload my video, it's going to be painstakingly done in Sony Vegas Pro. I do not use Wondershare or any other programs besides Sony Vegas Pro for SFM. Every other format does not work on those other formats. AGVA is the output that SFM is originally done. Originally, you can render videos in high definition. Now, let me see if I can get my computer to show the render that I had on photos. It still does not want me to show that. Well, the only way for me to show you the capture is I'm going to have to do this real quick. This is my poster I did for the Fluttershy thing. Now, let me show you how beautiful this came out. I did a great job on the rendering of this. I rendered this in 1080, and I had to use a lot of methods to make it look good. So, I figured out how to make the shiny color look good, make the camera stay in the 3x3, and there's going to be some upscaling I'm going to have to do in post rendering. Now, this is a post render that I would consider it. Now, if I were to tell you how I think about this, I use a ton of methods in photos. It might look terrible for you guys, but for me, you see all these shadows that's pixelated, jagged. It's because I have the thing focus view at 200% or 120%. Now her hair, and you're going to see some clipping. I put two models over each other to make this. You see those little knobs? A model that I used from a friend of mine that I'm not going to share, and I allowed myself to do it. Now, the other one I'm going to show you is this one. I put this thumbnail into a scene. I used all of my techniques in SFM and all of my experience with using skills that I want to develop in SFM. Now, the problem I had with rendering this was that I had to be very careful not to render anything, and these pixels are going to be a nightmare to fix. Now, I tried to connect everything onto the character Pickamini, Die, and Pie. Now, I used the same method as I did in the other screenshot. I use a lot of methods in photo. So, let's look at it this way. Every single video is in a 3x3, which means scenes have to be focused on a certain moment. So, this is focused here, here, and here, and here. It does not focus anything in the background. So, if I were to zoom in, it is just about a couple centimeters or a couple millimeters away from being just one scene. This is another one I did. This is a downgraded version of my animations. Now, I will say most of my animations are not the best. And I'm going to say that honestly and really heartily. Every single video and every single photo I make is not going to be always the best. I will say right now, not every video I use has the best output. Now, this goes to a lot of photos I do. Does not go for here. Does not go for anywhere else. Now, this video is focused only on Luna and Twilight. It is not focused on at a complete scale, so let's zoom out. This is what it looks like when you take those scenes and you behind the scenes wise. Her ears are not completely finished. Her head does not have her ears completed. And I'm going to show you why. Because the animation broke her ears. How do I know this, you ask? Look at the animation very closely, and you can see that the broken animation is whenever I'm putting an old model with a new animation will easily break anything. I have tried the defaulting, I have tried the 0, and I have tried everything you can think of in SFM. It is not an easy task to fix ears. And I'm going to be honest with you. Ears are difficult to recalibrate on a model. It might be easy for some experts. But when I'm looking at an angle, her ears are inside out completely. Her legs and forearms are shrunk a little bit. Because when I put the rig on her, it decided to break her in the process. These are all the scaling tools. I try to tell people, if you're going to be using Luna or Celestia on any point, you better ask some people who are expert modelers to make you a new model, because these are old since 2017 and 2016. And how do I know this? They might be revamped from 2018. Doesn't make any difference. They're still old. Now, I'm going to have to fix her eyes. And I'm going to tell you from my point of view. Eyes are a pain to move. And a pain to keep everything in one place. Now, we're going to take this to the next level. And you see those ears. Whenever I'm looking for the ear bone at all, it tends to tell me that it's not there, and it's not registering as a group. So here is my group of lights that I'm going to show you. This is what it looks like with all those lights in high quality. Now, I'm going to tell you, like I did before, everything in this video is painstakingly fixed to work. I do not recommend, if you are a beginner, to play with any of the lights unless you know what you're doing and you don't play with it too much. Because let me tell you right now, my CPU and RAM do not like me going any farther than 200. I tried 300 and 400 radius. Now, I'm going to turn off the radius for the lights. This helps me from overgoing a certain amount. Lights are difficult to play with. You might have intensity. And my best bet from you as a newcomer to not play with them that often, take a 3-point or a 4-point aspect ratio for all your models. Now see here, we're going to look at from here. You see where the lights are coming from just the sky and coming from some lights on the ground. Is because this scene has to be lit up in a way where I want to make a film and use a lot of my skills in SFM for lighting. Because I play with light a lot. I play with your mind with using illusions. The illusion is that the lights are farther back and very, very close to one another. And the reason why I don't like doing any of this with manually doing light fixing is to keep myself from making mistakes. And I'm going to tell you right now, everything in SFM is beta, so you have to think of it a beta point. Your ambient intensity is to help you out with ambient occlusion. I played with it. It's different. Hope you guys can hear a lot more going off, because I'd be annoyed if you do, and that makes me now I have to start my intro again. So everything in this entire video is done by hand, and I think if I were to make this a lot better and a lot more efficient with my skills, is to play with lights for a little bit advanced beginners. I don't consider myself a beginner anymore since I played with SFM for more than 6 years. And normally an expert has to have 8 years experience and 10,000 hours of work done. This is 2,500 hours into SFM, and this is not expert level. This is pretty basic, minimal. So when I'm looking through here, I might take out that rig so I can show you what happens if you detach it. It tells you, because sometimes it breaks. I'm going to tell you right now, rigging breaks SFM. I found this out a long time ago with everything. So all this right here, the face, everything, I have to manually go through all the basics again and again and again to make perfection. And I know you guys don't care like I do. I care about making stuff look perfect because YouTube wants your first impression and it wants your attention. I tend to always go under this thing of perfection. Don't think that you're going to do it the right way. I was stupid enough to go do that with wanting to be perfect. And I know a lot of people tell me not to be that way. Wrong. I have reasons to be a perfectionist. I love playing with things. SFM is a beautiful program to learn, and the most easiest thing to learn if you know film. If you don't know film and you don't know what you're doing in SFM, then you're going to fail like everyone else that has played in SFM, and a few people I will not name. And I will say right now, you might have time for your own self in SFM, but for me, I want to use all of my skills to work for me. Now see, I'm using the enclosed stepping. Now we are going to smooth this. Now watch. That looks a lot better than before. Now we're going to go to the next one. Every scene has to be perfectly fixed and cleaned up. As we are cleaning up this animation and fixing a ton of stuff that I can tell you off the bat is wrong with it. When I was trying to get it back in October, I told people I want to get this done before the end of the year. But when I looked at it, I considered myself to say, no, this is not going to be done in a year. This is going to take a while to learn and fix on my own accord. Fixing an SFM might be easy for some people, but beginners, advanced, and experts all know that every single time there is a different skill and a different level for every person you meet online. Now, I'm going to say right now, it doesn't really completely matter how you present yourself, but for me, I want to only just impress people who don't know what they're looking at. So, whenever I'm playing around with SFM as a whole, I want SFM to be something more than just, it's not a game. It's a program I use, not products, more like I want to get better at something and I want to learn. And every time I get something I want to learn in SFM, there's people online that don't know to upload a helping guide on everything you should already know. The next thing I need to also give out is not a whole lot of people use motion editor, and not a lot of people know how to do all the camera works. There's a bunch of people who are experts that haven't uploaded a tutorial in over 8 years. Or more than 5, or more than 6. It's pretty much the basics of learning a new tool. I spent 7 to 8 years, maybe about close to 9 years, learning one thing in SFM. And learning in SFM is a whole nother level of fixing. Now, I'm going to show you my ways of animating, because I haven't really given a whole lot of people any time to give you a cooldown. Now, there is a cooldown in SFM to where you have to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, does this work? Does it apply to all the skills that I have? So I can zoom out and I can see some stuff that I need to fix. Now, her body's completely animated. Only problem is I have to loosen up her muscles a little bit and her control points where it's telling you little bones to tell you to move them. That's just how it is. Luna is a great character to play around with in SFM, but you're going to have issues with certain things. You're going to have glitches, you're going to have problems with her hair. It is a nightmare to have a translucent hairpiece that you have to move. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to go through her jiggle bones in our hair and we're going to animate them. Now, when I say jiggle bones, I mean you're going to have to learn how to slightly move some of these and play with them. If I sound like I might say something wrong, don't believe everything I say. Take stuff that you see people do with a grain of salt. Don't just constantly think you're going to believe everything I say. And I know some people might have a different approach to me, and people might think, no, I am only involved in drama all the time. No. I'm involved with a ton of stuff behind the scenes that is mostly stuff I don't want to say out loud and stuff that I want to keep to myself. And honestly, taking a lot of time for myself. Now, some people want to think it's okay. There's an animator that's called Luna's Castle that uses Katera as a program. I don't really suggest it as a program unless you know everything about it. Okay, let me be sure that everything is working correctly. Just so they keep getting arrows. Let me look at this. So, what else should I do here? I want to hear from the audience. And I know I'm asking this from my perspective. I want to hear from you. So what I'm going to possibly do with this animation is try to play with it. try to play around with some stuff. So I'm going to turn off the light so I can get that smooth. So we're going to go 1, 2, and we are going to go this way. Another thing that I haven't told a whole lot of people, I have not played around with FL Studio in a long time. Problem is, as a source filmmaker and all this stuff, you have to have skills that have to be constantly played around with. And I have to constantly play around with light in every kind of specific way, because it's a very difficult job to constantly be always on the mood. So I try to keep the light not neutral, more like I want it to look good when people watch it. Like, I'm going to turn this off, turn all that off. I want to keep all that light off. That intensity gets on my nerves. I think I forgot to turn all this off. I was in a hurry once doing all this. Now, there's going to be some glitching that I'm going to have to edit out. Editing is another aspect to SFM, is that once you get to a point in your career in SFM, you have to fix it yourself. And don't rely on the people that say they claim they're going to help you. Now, for me, I love the idea of constantly playing around with SFM lighting and playing around with it. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play around with all this. Again, I said this 100 times. Play around with what you have. When you have SFM, you have to play with all your little tools. You got to play with what you have and think. I play with SFM for so many days and so many nights of constantly worrying about my content and constantly worrying about how people are going to feel about it. And I know a lot of people think, you know what, you shouldn't be worrying about it. Nah, man, nah, fam. If you would all have been in my shoes and you play around with SFM long enough to know it's not that easy. You want perfection. You want to play around with stuff that is fun. But here's my little take on the word fun. What is you claiming it to be fun? What are you trying to give as fun? And some people might think I'm being a brute about this and not looking at it from my perspective. From my perspective, fun is a definition that is controversially repetitive and extremely debatable. And debatable as in, like, if you consider this fun, what do you think is not fun? I play with TF2 all the time, and it's not fun if you're fighting against dum-dums. Now, some people might say, oh, I'm not a dum-dum, and I am not this and that. Oh, shut up. I hear people all the time complaining that they say, oh, I'm shit. Okay, then. What is your definition of shit, then? So the next thing after I'm finished putting everything together is the next part of the entire thing is, what do you want to call it? More like cleanup, because SFM you have to clean a lot of stuff up after editing. Now we're going to move her hands a bit. Well, her wings too. And hello to anyone that has joined on and who is viewing this. Thank you very much. and I appreciate you guys sticking to what I've been doing on this project. So basically what I'm doing is just playing around with SFM again and seeing what I can come up with. Now, there has been a little bit of debate on some things that I want to use and some things I don't want to use in the animation. Now, I possibly will post the entire full animation completely, fully unedited. And I might play around with a ton of stuff that involves lighting, which is what I want to do. And I'm trying to think in my head. I have already worked on plenty of other projects in the process. So let me see what else I can do here. Thought about what I can do is put a lot more oomph into it with animating her wings. Because that's something that I can do with her. I don't like being tired, and I don't like feeling tired. Let me turn on some. If you guys don't know who that is that it just played, or who you knows, funny enough, a lot of that music is what I listen to. I've been really obsessed with playing, and I'm fine with it. Like, who else? Let me listen to something that... Because normally I don't like using music on streams because I already know that some people are going to be possibility copy.